Bruce Cassidy said the Golden Knights played a beer league game as turnovers plagued VGK in a 6-5 overtime loss in New Jersey. Now the Golden Knights traveled to New York to meet the rejuvenated Islanders tonight. We'll talk about all this and much, much more. Disrespecting the beer league, bro. Right after this on Lockdown Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Locked On Golden Knights. We are brought to you today by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your next purchase. Wild affair at the Rock in New Jersey last night, Chris. The Devils went up 3-1. VGK then comes back, scores 4 straight goals. They lead in the game 5-3. Then Tyler Toffoli scores that goal, of course, late in the second period. And the Devils tie the game up at 5 in the third. They force overtime. I felt that the Devils dominated pretty much in the overtime period. Jesper Bratt hits the crossbar and gets pipe on the post there in the OT period. And then it's finally capped off. Another stinking turnover, this one by Brett Howden in the game. And Toffoli caps off his night and the hat trick. Let's talk about turnovers first and then the reaction post-game by one Bruce Cassidy.
Let's talk about Brett Howden for a second here. Admittedly, I watched the first period passively, didn't watch any of the second, watched the third pretty much in its entirety. So my initial reaction was, all right, they got a point, move on. But then when you watch the replays of the goals, when you listen to Cassidy, it's not that the Golden Knights got a point. They lost a point last night. And I think that's an important way to start as far as I'm concerned. Looking at the game summary right here, my first question is, and I know that there's injuries and limited options, but Brett Howden was already a -4 in this game.
Jeez.
At 5-on-5 play.
-4.
So what?
That's good.
He's
good
-4. So
Jeez.
He's -5 now after the overtime.
Whoa.
So why is Brett Howden on the ice in overtime? Like I said, I know options are limited, but in this spot, in this circumstance, I don't see how coach puts Howden on the ice. And yeah, I mean, the turnover, like you watch these goals, Nick Hague and Whitecloud, I think were both -3s as well. Whitecloud -3, Hague -2. So whatever. Paul Cotter
and
-3.
And Cassidy never really goes out and blasts players by name, but he mentions Hague and Korczak and Whitecloud.
Yes.
That was not his best game as a VGKer.
No, I mean, it was the comment disrespectful to the game. I mean,
disrespectful to beer league, man. Don't be
I've ref better beer league games with less turnovers. I mean, like Brett Howden, what's like Alex Pietrangelo is streaking down the boards trying to be the one for a breakaway in overtime. I don't know if that's the best decision making. Howden trying to hit him with a lame duck stretch pass, not a good idea. Korczak gets outworked. Whitecloud makes a bad pass up the boards. The centers aren't covering the other team's wingers and centers coming in. I mean, that's like Cassidy said. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. And poor Ashley Weiss last night. Cassidy starts things off. I forgot these exact wording, but where do you want to start? Or something like that.
It was tough to digest.
Right? Yeah, it's tough to digest. Where do you want to start? And Ashley's like, I could hear in her voice. She's like, he rattled her a little bit. And
of course, yeah, because he's always just even tempered, right?
And I will give anyone action that sometime in the neck off. I will give anyone action.
Swaying, man. I'm sorry, but he was just swaying, and that goes to show you that he's not happy. He needs
No,
South
I'll give
Beach
anyone
fast.
action that that Cassidy does give an apology to Ashley last night. He was a little rough on her, and
Yeah,
I
I didn't
get
think
it.
it.
I
Well, it
get it. I
wasn't
get it.
her.
But
It wasn't her. You know,
no,
it
no, no.
just
But she was But she was the one out
she was
there,
first.
and
She led
yeah,
off. Yeah. If you're going to be in that leadoff position, you could come to expect that. And again, he just talked about not protecting the puck, and then he does. He said the defensive cord not good for the game, and he went off on them. One area that was good, again, Jonathan Marchessault continues to take the lead, perhaps because he's getting more shots on net, becoming more of a leader. 5 goals over the last 4 games, and 4 straight games he has scored a goal. So Marchessault's playing well. His line's
yeah.
playing
No,
well.
Marchessault's playing awesome. Pavel Dorofiev's playing great right now. Stevenson is coming alive right now. So there's certainly a lot to like on the offensive side of the blue line of the ice as of late, and it's unfortunate for this team to lose a game in which they score this many goals, especially given the circumstances. So, I mean, it's just like it's hard for me to take this one direction or the other because it was just a very, very bad game. And I think the one thing that I would like to hit on is Cassidy a little bit more here. So, this is where Cassidy needs to be careful. I get Cassidy's post game, and I don't think it was the wrong post game. I want to be clear about that. We don't know what's going to happen tonight against the Islanders, right? Aiden Hill supposed to come back, but I'm not locked in that's going to happen. We can talk about that later. Golden Knights they just played a very bad game. They don't have a practice. Let's just for a second assume the worst, and they do go out and lose tonight's game 5-2. What's he going to do? Is he going to do the same type of post game and start ripping these guys? Like, at some point you got to walk that line. And I'm bringing this up because this is what made him, in my opinion, wear out his welcome in Boston. Too many press conferences like this. And Cassidy himself said in the offseason when he took the position with the Golden Knights that there were learning opportunities with, the way he handled things through the media and stuff like that. And so it's tough. It's close. And the shelf life of an NHL coach is not that long, even with Stanley Cup wins and stuff like that. And I'm not saying Cassidy is leaving this team in a year. I'm not saying anything like that. But press conferences like this are what people go back to when they look at if the Golden Knights all of a sudden don't do well for a while. They're going to look back at this press conference on January 22nd and be like, whoa, okay, this is, So bad spot for the team. Cassidy was not in bad form. I want to be clear. Cassidy gave the right press conference. And listen, we got the PG version. Just imagine how that locker room was after the game if this is how Cassidy was with all the microphones in front of him. So the team knows it was bad. And the positive is they have a very quick turnaround. The negative is they have a very quick turnaround.
And the positive for me was that was a fun game to watch, though, back and forth and up and down the ice. And you could tell he's really steamed when he just refers to LT as the goalie again. The goalie couldn't find the puck for a minute. He talked about that. Not a good night for Logan Thompson. But the defense just wasn't there. Like it was so loose. There was so much open ice.
The Golden Knights gave up 5 goals last week and gave up 6 goals last night. So I mean,
the Devils,
no, that's on everybody. Does it start with Logan Thompson? I don't think that's where we start our finger pointing, but reality is, we hear Cassidy make those comments about you need that one more. You just need that one more save sometimes. Well, Logan needed about 3 more saves last night, and the defense needed about 4 less turnovers. And it's going to happen. I mean, I guess the question I'll pose to you and everyone that does watch this podcast: would this have felt better if the Golden Knights had lost this game 2-1 in regulation and played really well? Would that feel better? And the answer is no, in my opinion. I mean, take the point. You need these points. These points do add up, and this point earned on January 22nd could factor in first, second, third, or fourth place in the Pacific Division, and also obviously in the Metro Division for the Islanders, the extra point they got. So, listen, the glass is half empty. Let's be clear about this, but I'll still take a point versus us talking about a great effort wasted by Logan Thompson and they ran into a hot goalie. Like, this is better than all of that nonsense. Let's be fair about this.
Vitek Vanacek also living up to his form and his pre-billing. We said this would be an over
885 save percentage coming in or something. Yeah.
but I think he's going to move up because he's got to be last in the league now in high danger chances because he was 63rd. He's got to be 64th by now. It's such a bad game. And VGK, I think, but again, Cassidy, he's a really good motivator, I feel. He's a good coach in game that makes adjustments, but his defense really let him down last night. And I think at the start of this road trip, this is crucial going into the All-Star break. He doesn't want his team to let down. And I think that, again, I think the timing was good that he just blasted the team because now they have to come back and focus against the team tonight in the Islanders, which could be a difficult contest for the VGK. And coming up next, VGK does indeed travel to Elmont, New York. They're not going to go to the Belmont racetrack. It's closed as they'll face the Islanders tonight, a different team than when they first faced them back on January the 9th. We'll get to all that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Gametime is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. Gametime has deals on tickets right up until the start of the event, and it even has a lot of tickets an hour after the game starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. That's right. You could find exclusive flash deals, sponsor deals on tickets for the NHL, football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, and much, much more. With zone deals, you pick the section, and Gametime will pick the seats, and that's an average of 18% savings. And the Gametime guarantee, that means that you will always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section for less, then Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Gametime app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off on your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the redeem code LOCKEDON and make sure that you get to the app and you'll get $20 off of your first purchase. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. I spent a lot of yesterday, Chris, over at the Dollar Loan Center, home of the Silver Knights, but now also home of the Thrill. That was
the
good.
McDonald's logo? Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Of the Vegas Thrill volleyball team, open house tonight going on over there, 5:30 to 7:30, free. Come on down.
You going to be there for that?
So, yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll have a Thrill shirt on too. So, and after it's a practice session. Mercedes from 94-1's going to try out for the team. It's a little stunt right there. And then afterwards, you get signed posters by all of the professional volleyball players. It's really cool.
Before we dig in, I want to just push back a tiny bit. I don't know if I look at Cassidy as a motivator, and I don't mean that.
I thought you were going to push back on volleyball. It's like, what's going on with this?
I love volleyball. I played volleyball a ton growing up.
This isn't awesome. Sunday. Sundays you could do that. Okay. But okay, so Cassidy, motivator.
Cassidy,
not like a motivator?
I look at him more as strategic, in-game adjustments, analytical, like Rod Brindamore. That's a motivator, right? Brindamore is going to focus more on, getting the players to believe they can run through a wall, to get players to maybe exceed their expectations. Where Cassidy is kind of bottling up or using everyone's skill sets to make them the best version of themselves. There we go. A little different. And it's not a knock on Cassidy when I say that. Like, Cassidy isn't that win one for the Gipper, rah, rah, rah type of guy. That's all I'm trying to say. That's it. That's all I got there.
No, it's okay. Valid point. So since VGK killed yet another NHL coach, or at least contributed to his demise, Lane Lambert.
Was that last year they were doing that a ton? I remember talking about this
twice this year too. Didn't they kill two coaches already before that? So Lane Lambert fired last week, former NHL great goaltender and experienced head coach Patrick Waugh, the former Jack Adams Award winner when he was in Colorado, hired as the head coach now for the Isles. And Wah, in fact, did coach Jonathan Marchessault in the juniors. So Marchessault, I heard on the radio because I was back and forth and watching TV and listening. And he had, I guess, at practice yesterday, Marchessault was helping to break down a lot of the tendencies and what to look for. So that's pretty interesting for Patrick Waugh. The Islanders had dropped 6 of 7, starting with the Golden Knights loss. The Islanders were loose defensively, like VGK was last night. Take the over again. And Waugh will bring some structure to this club. Sunday, the Islanders topping Dallas in overtime as Bo Horvat scored 41 seconds into overtime. A little note here on Ilya Sorokin. He's this year's John Gibson. Chris, he's faced more than 40 shots, the most on net in the NHL. And I think he faced like 46 in the game in the win the other night. But a lot of shots on net. And I think that's what Patrick Roy will try to clean up for the Islanders.
Yeah, Gibson, I think, was like facing nearly 40 shots a game. Just some stupid, ridiculous number last season. Let's see, 1174 divided by 34. He's facing 34.5 shots a game right now, Sorokin is. So, yeah, I mean, shoot early, shoot often. He's got a 910 save percentage, which isn't terrible considering all of those shots. So that tells me the Islanders structurally do not play good defense, no different than what the Golden Knights just faced in the Devils. Do the Islanders have the same scoring punch? I don't know. Patrick Waugh, just some interesting nuggets there. I mean, he had a really good first season with the Avalanche coaching, won the Jack Adams, and then it just goes to the not the clapper, but the crapper for a couple of seasons, and he's out. There you go. But my best Patrick Waugh coaching moment was him and Bruce Boudreau when they were across the benches from one another, and Patrick Waugh just flipped out, and he's literally pushing the partition down. Like that partition between the two benches, at least at that time, wasn't meant to have any pressure on it. So he's pushing on it, and it's like falling on Boudreau. The other team's pushing it back, and yeah. And then the other thing, my favorite league in the world, the QMJHL, Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Patrick Waugh won the championship there last year. So, there you go. I mean, Patrick Waugh, he had his cup of coffee in the NHL, probably realized he wasn't necessarily ready, goes back down for a little bit, comes back up. So we'll see what Patrick Waugh has learned. As far as thinking about this game, I mean, Aiden Hill, let's start there, or maybe we'll shift to there is a better way to say it. This Aiden Hill situation, there's just, this is strange. Medically cleared, can't play, and all of a sudden doesn't do anything for weeks. And did Coach Cassidy mention either in the pre or post? I didn't catch this, but did Cassidy mention again Hill still needs to be medically cleared? Did I hear that yesterday appropriately or no?
I don't know if I heard.
Someone put that out there in social, one of the groups, but I don't recall who, and I don't recall hearing it. So
I didn't.
What is going on with Aiden Hill?
I don't recall hearing it, but he was less than 100% confirmed for this game tonight. So he said, "Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, he can go. I'm thinking he's going to start." What?
There's frustration there. I don't care who says what. I don't care what people are reading between the lines, but there's frustration right there. And now, to be fair, is the frustration because Aiden Hill is so close to coming back? Mm-hmm. Is the frustration because Aiden Hill is this is where my frustration would come. If I'm coaching this team, if the medical team says good to go and he can't go, this is frustration. And it doesn't mean I'm frustrated with Aiden Hill. It means what is happening? Why is the medical team saying this? Why is Aiden Hill saying this? Why are people not on the same page? And I know there's all these machines people can hook up to your body and tell you all these crazy things about it. And I also know there's just things I'm feeling that a machine isn't going to find. I get it. I understand all of that. But there's a disconnect somewhere. And I can understand why it's making Cassidy, a little concerned. And to be completely fair, Carp was the one who got Cassidy going a little bit on this last night, but Cassidy wasn't necessarily in the best place to give a clear and transparent perspective while keeping nice and calm about his feelings about Aiden Hill going last night. So maybe it was the perfect question at the perfect time, I guess. So fortunately, we won't have an idea what's happening until about 3:15 to 3:30 local Vegas time. If Hill does go, great. Team needs him. Be good to see him. But is there a path where if Aiden doesn't go tonight, there's two questions. One, will Aiden even go before the All-Star game? My guess is no, if he doesn't go tonight. And then number two, are they really going to roll Thompson back out there tonight after giving up 6? I don't think so.
I don't
Go
think
get
so. No.
Isaiah Seville. I mean, why is
not
Hill
6
not
feet
even
tall.
backing up in last night's game, Tony? Like, these are
Hill or Seville, exactly. Why was
like,
Seville
why not
the
give him the
backup?
warm-up? So that's the thing. So
Interesting.
he's not even going to face. Okay, so the Golden Knights last practice, they had a pregame skate Saturday morning, which is when Aiden Hill was on the ice. Sunday they travel. They have a game yesterday, but Seville's the backup. There's no pregame skate, so unless Hill got work on the side, which he may have, we won't know that. Well, we have a ton of local media there, so it wasn't reported. So I'm guessing Aiden Hill didn't get any work in. Do you think the Golden Knights are really going to roll Aiden Hill out without touching the ice since Saturday?
That's real interesting.
I say no. I say no.
That's a good point. And maybe we'll see the debut of Seville in the game tonight. And goaltending for the Islanders, we talked about Sorokin. It was 43 shots he faced against Dallas the other day, but he does lead the league in most games where he's faced 40 or more shots on net. They have, of course, Varlamov. He's still out, and so they need 2 goaltenders. They're sort of in the same situation where Sorokin, I think, is a little bit worn out. But this is an Islander team, too, that we pointed out before they played against the VGK back on January the 9th, Chris, that has blown a lot of leads. And I think, again, structurally, they need to be more sound because there was nothing sound about this team. They're 9 points behind the Rangers in the Metro Division, and they're, I think, right on the cusp there at the wild card situation. I think the cutoff, I think it's 51 points. I also wanted to point out that the Islanders, the most overtime losses in the league, 11. So if it comes down to the wire, isn't that pretty interesting? It's glaring. It
glass
right
half full. That's 11 points that maybe they didn't have. That's 11 points that they left on the table. And this Metro is crazy, right? 60 points for the Rangers at the top. Pittsburgh Penguins at 48 points in 7th place. So they're only 12 points out. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, oh my goodness, the Arizona Coyotes score a power play goal without touching the puck because Chris Letang makes a pass to Malkin, who is just not paying attention. And then, oh my goodness. So just to set the scene really fast, I know we got to move to the next segment here. We're going a little bit long, but to set the scene really quickly here, Arizona's on the power play. Arizona commits a penalty. Pittsburgh takes the puck all the way back so they can get their 5th skater on the ice. Chris Letang is going inside the defensive zone, does a no-look drop pass right to Evgeny Malkin, who's not expecting the pass. Letang's pass isn't good. It goes off Malkin's backhand and right into the net with the goalie pulled because they had an extra attacker on the ice. And the reason I love talking about this is one of the strangest situations in the National Hockey League. It's happened before, not often, but let's just get crazy for a second here. Let's just say the Pittsburgh Penguins would have taken a shot while they had the extra attacker on the ice, right? It hits the goalie, so goalie makes a save. Pittsburgh, for whatever reason, recoils all the way back, and they start the breakouts. The goalie could actually get credited for the goal in that circumstance because it's the last player that touches the puck for the other team.
Oh.
That's like right up there with me on wanting to see with a goalie goal, a goalie fight, or an e-bug. So
we had a ECHL fight with goaltenders the other night.
The Ghost Pirates. The Ghost Pirates.
So that was a good fight too.
It was a good little scrap. It's good for the game. Aiden Hill, don't get in a fight your first game back.
No. His first game back when?
Could you imagine Cassidy
after the All-Star break?
In April? Yeah. Can you imagine Cassidy post game if Aiden Hill were to get in a fight tonight if he plays?
That would be terrific. Coming up next, we've got our locks and predictions coming up all ahead right here on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Regardless of where the Vegas Golden Knights are at in the current standings, they're in second place. They trail by 8 now behind the Canucks. We want to remind you that you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper. It's the official daily fantasy app of Locked On NHL's network. And Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can definitely cash in 100 times your initial wager there. And it's really fun to play. Fans can also play daily fantasy NFL, NBA, MLB, college football, and more on Sleeper. And you also can connect with other fans. And some of the studs that you have to take a look at, well, talk about a player being on a heater right now. Of course, Jonathan Marchessault, 4 games in a row, started with that empty netter. All good things begin with empty netters. Of course, that's a William Karlsson shout out. Nikita Kucherov is still hot. Nathan McKinnon, probably the MVP at this point. He is still hot. Of course, Logan Thompson was the 3rd star of the week. It goes out, proceeds to give up 6 goals. Okay, in any event, we're going to talk about Sleeper and, of course, projections for things like goals, assists, and saves, plus, minus, much, much more in a given game. You heard us, VGK fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper, so start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL, and you will get up to $100 match in your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use. Welcome back. Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. That's where you can find on Saturday mornings the YouTube exclusive, Chris and Chris. Little Chris goes between the legs in slow-mo. That kid's grown up right before our very eyes, though. I'm like, holy smokes, he's like gotten taller. He looks like a different guy. Yeah.
He's really, I'm trying to get him in here, but I don't know if he's ignoring me or what, but he's growing. His game is growing. Like his hockey IQ is off the charts for that age, which obviously he watches a lot of hockey. That's, and as his skating and skill catches up to him, it's going to be fun to watch. And now he's getting the creativity down. He's getting some swagger. And Tony's alluding to my little man in practice yesterday, pulling off the William Karlsson, shooting the puck between his legs and scoring on our goalie. And it was a fun time last night. It was just a practice, but it was fun.
And don't forget, on Fridays, we've got WTF with the Friday. Hey, what's the status more importantly than Aiden Hill? When is this Bjornfoot guy getting back in the lineup? That it's very suspicious that they're holding him out.
Day to day returning in April.
Locks and predictions. Okay, I'll go first here. You're not going to believe this, but I'm going to go because of the sluggishness, I think, of VGK primarily. I think that they're going to very much start forechecking. I put up the stats from last night's game. 11-10 hits, Devils. 11-10. They didn't want to touch each other. Think about that.
There was 21 hits in last night's game.
That was it. Yes. 11-10 in favor of the Devils. I put up that chart on our Locked On VGK Twitter. I was kind of surprised, right? I
have it here. Yeah, it's
there. Yeah, that's rigged. It's so rigged that they didn't even hit each other. And
what player
who had the most hits? Who?
Brendan Brisson. He had 2.
2 hits.
Tied with Zach Whitecloud.
Yeah, so I'm talking about a very
sorry. Marchessault had 3. Marchessault had 3. I missed that. Okay, but still.
Wow. So that was something that really stood out in the game. Tonight, we'll see the forecheck back. We'll see the defense play better. However, I'm going to go with a team that has a lot of emotion right now, and Patrick Roy wants to win this game, I'll tell you, and get revenge for being Coach Killis. I'm going to go 3-2 Islanders. I'm going to go Roy, and I think Marchessault scores again. I do. I think it'll be Roy and Marchessault. And, oh, by the way, yesterday, it was announced that since the VGK's Jack Eichel is on the injured list, no all-star replacement for the Golden Knights. So no guilty game goals, nothing out of VGK. Is Pete DeBoer? No, he's not. I wanted him to get hung over again and admit to it. Coaching.
Correction. I was looking at the wrong column. Brisson no hits last night. My bad. Which still only had him 3 hits behind the leader, to be fair. But I was looking at the wrong
But
column.
Marshall's so 3 hits. Doesn't that just really jump out at you? Because I was really shocked to see that number, because all the VGK kept talking about was how fast the Devils were. Well, you need to try to slow them down. Yeah, I'd be as pissed off as Cassidy was after that game.
And the defense is healthy right now, at least healthy-ish compared to everything else. So I get it. I get Cassidy going back to that. And, let's just moving on. I'm with you. Before we keep going again
real
here.
Quickly, any lineup changes tonight? Any lineup changes? No,
unless it's health related, but I don't think so. I mean, what are they gonna scratch Howden for like what are they gonna do? What are they gonna
-5? Oh my good. Well, he needs to make a statement of some sort. I don't know who else they could plug in.
Sure.
And defensively, same thing. Okay, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, dude. You're good. So one thing I did like about Coach's press conference was he mentioned Barbashev had a rough turnover, and then that line went out there and played really well the rest of the game. So got redemption, and that was one of the bright spots of Cassidy's presser last night. So in the spirit of that, let's go with Howden, right? Let's go with Howden and have a bounce back game. Maybe only be -3 today.
He might think it's the Rangers. He's minus. he might think it's the.
I'm sorry, that wasn't
the Rangers. If he thinks he's in New York at the Garden, then he's definitely going to score a goal, because he always does.
Yes, revenge game. I'm sure he was so
Okay.
unjustly outed. All right.
So what was your score in this pond hockey game?
Give me Howden. Give me Pavel Dorofeev. I just love watching Pavel Dorofeev grow right now. And only thing I wish for Dorofeev's sake, he could have been around since the start of the season. But when the team was healthy, it was hard for him to draw in. So Dorofeev, Howden in a bounce back game. But I'm going 6-5 Islanders. I don't see a lot changing tonight. I really don't. I mean, I want to think a lot's going to change, but it's just so tough in the back-to-back on the road. Time change, no practice, tired legs. I mean, we can go on and on. The Islanders last played, blah, blah, blah.
Dallas 2 nights ago.
Dallas on the 21st, so they're at home. They're waiting for the Golden Knights. I think the Golden Knights will score just fine. I'm just, it's going to be weird. And I mean, listen, if it's Logan Thompson, how do you feel after last night's game? Okay, fine. And to be fair, Logan Thompson has played back-to-back games this year.
The goalie, yes. You can tell he's mad when he just calls him the goalie. The goalie, not our goalie, the goalie.
It was the Kings game, right? Where I think the goalie went to Anaheim. I mean, okay, so let's just hear me out. Logan struggles against Anaheim, has the home game against LA, and just has a great bounce-back game. So maybe that happens tonight. Isaiah Seville might make his debut. Ooh, okay, ECHL goalie. I mean, maybe he'll be great. Maybe he won't be great. We don't know. We know Cassidy doesn't want to play anyone besides Logan or Aiden Hill in that net. Aiden Hill supposed to make the start. My second lock of the night is Aiden Hill does not see the ice tonight.
Wow. It's incredible, too.
I'm not buying it. I'm saying it. I'm not buying it. There's something up.
LT could not live up to his press clippings where he went 3-0 for the week, 1.34 goals against, 956 save percentage, and it all comes to a crashing halt. He'll get no stars next week. None.
It's all fair. It's fair. It's fair. He
Okay.
Gets both. He got a lot of credit last week, and last night he had a bad game, so he gets it.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much.
That was fun.
It's always fun. Come on, bro.
Probably
we even got acknowledged by the boss and the panel. There's a panel that was like,
yeah, we were the last team acknowledged. I don't think it was even in alphabetical order too.
It was Vegas. It was Vegas. It was supposed to.
Vegas. Okay, the V. We're going by the V, not the G. Okay.
Alphabetical. We appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. And again,
sidetrack Sundays
tomorrow. We'll have a recap of this Islander game. Of course, I love it. 4:30 again will be the face-off time. From a man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. More shenanigans tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take 1,002. Care.